Okay, we're live.
Well, hello everybody. Good to see you. Have to catch my breath here. I had a client call just before this started, so Beyond decided I'm a racing monk. Um, so it's good to see you all. We're gathering here today to atone for our misdeeds and to reaffirm our commitment to live by the precepts. So we'll start with a brief bit of zazen, and then we'll have a offering of incense that's similar to the Zazen Kai. If you've been to that, you'll know what we're doing. So let's start out with some zazen, and you can sit just where you are if you'd like. can move the whole world. I've been trying to do this thing where I give a little talk before these and reflect on the precepts, and I'm not preparing. No notes, don't even think about it ahead of time. But today I really, really didn't think about it ahead of time because, blah, 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 blah on a Zoom call. So last night, here we are, we're gathered on the full moon to recommit. And last night when I took the dog out for her last walk, the moon was directly overhead. And I don't know why, I don't know what it was. There was no clouds and a full moon and, but it was super bright. I don't know what would make it brighter. Low humidity in the upper atmosphere. The vagaries of my silly human perception. I'm not sure what, but it was super bright. And so the dog did her business, and I could hear some deer out in the woods, and I didn't want to come back inside. Like, I wasn't quite ready to come back inside. It was just magical. So I found a place at the base of a red oak that didn't have a lot of leaves or anything under it, and it was fairly clean to go sit for a little bit. And so I just sat for a little bit under the moon and the maple, or under the moon and the oak, and the dog laid down with me, and we had a nice, I don't know what it was, 10-minute Zazen. And in that moment, in that series of moments, there is no breaking our vows. I mean, I guess you could, if you really tried, you could chew on some anger from the day and something that somebody said to you or whatever, but under that magical moon, there was no breaking of the precepts. I could just say that. And that's the challenge with our way, isn't it? Like, we householders, job havers, significant other living withers, we can't just stay under that tree, under that full moon. We have to interact with customers and clients and the people at the store, and we might hear about the news and be angry about things happening in the world or whatever. And that's what happens. That's our way. And that's why we come back to do this every month. That's why we have a daily practice. And, it's a very practical, this is a very practical way, isn't it? But the teaching for me in that moment under the moon and the oak tree is that a day is a trillion instants long. I don't know how long a day is, but there's a lot of this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. And in this moment, we can live by this moment, we can live by the precepts. This moment, we can live by the precepts. And conversely, when we goof up and we give in to anger, or, we see the advertisement for the shiny new fondle slab that'll bring us the internet, and we say, oh man, I want that, and we give in to that greed. We can also let go of it in this moment, this moment, this moment, this moment. And in fact, that's the only time we can ever do that, right? Is in this moment, and this moment, and this moment. It is in this living moment. Now, I have a Zhendo that lives in my head, and he would talk about the true timelessness, and there's a whole other aspect to it too. But I think in a practical sense, as we are sentient beings, as human beings with brains and bellies and arms and hands, we do live in this moment. And so that's the time that we can manifest the Buddha Dharma. That is the time in which we can make right choices, ripen karma, atone for our previous goof ups. Because in a sense, we are always under that beautiful full moon, and there's always an oak tree nearby. Even in the city, there's an oak tree somewhere. You may have to expand your definition of nearby, but so for me, I really want to carry that full moon and that tree with me for the rest of the month. And when I give in to, anger and greed, I hope that I can return to that moment and that lesson and just let go of that stuff and ripen the Buddha Dharma right now, right now, right now, right now. So that's my spiel. And on that note, we'll move on to confessing and atoning for all the times that we were not under that beautiful full moon. The great precepts of Gautama Buddha were kept by all Buddhas. They were transmitted from Buddha to Buddha. They were received by ancestor after ancestor. Our great master Gautama Buddha transmitted the precepts to Master Mahakashyapa. Master Mahakashyapa transmitted the precepts to Master Ananda. And the transmission of the precepts has continued in this way, passing from orthodox successor to orthodox successor in one line. Now we reaffirm our commitment to the precepts, to return the profound benevolence of Gautama Buddha. We trust this to be the true reception of Gautama Buddha's wisdom and life. Respectfully following the approval of Gautama Buddha, we would like to devote ourselves to the precepts, beginning with atoning for past misdeeds. Now, at this point, if you are physically able to, we haven't talked about this in a while, but I just as a note for folks, at this point, if you can kneel upright on your zagu, it lets you do a nice deep bow at the right time. If you can't do that or don't want to do that, that's fine too. But that's how this next part goes. While we recite the verse of atonement.
All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all.
We'll now invoke the presence of the Buddhas. You can either bow as you have been. I'm going to do prostrations, but again, you don't have to do that.
Homage to the seven Buddhas of the past as symbols to our connection through time. Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, a person of this earth. Homage to Miroku Buddha, symbol of hope for the future. Homage to Monju Bodhisattva, symbol of great activity. Homage to Kanzeon Bodhisattva, symbol of great compassion. Homage to the successive generations of ancestor Bodhisattvas.
Now we'll have our water purification ceremony. If you brought water and a leaf or some bit of greenery for this part, that's great. If you didn't bring anything, this is a symbolic purification. So you can just pull some, there's water in the air. There's always water in the air. Pull it out and apply some to your forehead. But if you brought your greenery, touch it to your forehead. Cleanse your body and mind and heart. I had to use a houseplant. Greenery is getting pretty thin here in Virginia. All you disciples of the Buddha, join your palms in reverence and listen wholeheartedly. I would like to now articulate the preface to the great precepts of the Buddhas. If the members of the assembly will quietly listen, they will know that they done goofed up, and they will atone. If they atone, they will be at ease. If they do not repent, their wrongdoing will grow more grievous. Those who have done wrong are silent. And because of their silence, you should know that they are all purified. Worthy monks, laymen, laywomen, and all the rest, listen well. In this difficult age, when the lifetime of the Buddha sometimes seems distant, you should revere the Pratimoksha. The Pratimoksha is none other than these precepts. When you observe these precepts, it is like darkness meeting with light. It is like someone poor attaining a treasure. It is like someone who is ill being healed. It is like a prisoner being released from their chains. It is like a traveler who is able to return home. You should know that these rules, the Pratimoksha, are the great teacher for this assembly of people. They are no different than the presence of the Buddha in the world here and now. Thoughts of fear are difficult to produce. Unwholesome thoughts are difficult to give rise to. Therefore, a sutra says, do not trivialize minor misdeeds as if they are not problematic. Drops of water, though tiny, will gradually fill a large basin. A single instant of wrongdoing can lead you to fall into a hell of uninterrupted suffering. And once you lose your human body, you may not get another for 10,000 kalpas. Just as a galloping horse passes by swiftly, one's physical strength will not remain. The transience of human life goes beyond the mountains and seas. Even if something remains for the duration of one day, it will be quite difficult to hold on to it tomorrow. Members of the assembly should each energetically advance their own minds. Be careful not to be lazy, negligent, drowsy, or arbitrary. In the evening, you must gather your thoughts and focus them firmly on the three treasures. Do not take as being a waste of time the effort to deepen your repentance for those of later generations. Members of the assembly, each of you in your own minds should carefully rely on these precepts. Discipline yourselves in the practices that accord with the Buddha's teachings. Now we begin with the three refuges. Respectful devotion to Buddha. Respectful devotion to Dharma. Respectful devotion to Sangha. Devotion to Buddha, the Supreme One. Devotion to Dharma, the supreme purity and teaching. Devotion to Sangha, the supreme community. Perfect devotion to Buddha. Perfect devotion to Dharma. Perfect devotion to Sangha. Now the three pure precepts. Today, I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life, to avoid doing harm. To seek as I can in this body and life, to live in a healthful and helping way, doing good. To seek as I can in this body and life, to live for the benefit of all sentient beings. Now the 10 fundamental precepts. Today I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from the killing of life. To seek as I can in this body and life, to live in generosity and refrain from taking that which is not given freely. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from misusing sexuality and all desire. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from false and malicious speech. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from intoxication in its many forms. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from unconstructively criticizing the errors and faults of others. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from praising oneself and judging others. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from stinginess in bestowing the Buddha's teachings and all precious things. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from all anger. To seek as I can in this body and life, to refrain from disparaging the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha.
To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable.
Abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to Buddha. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reaffirming our commitments to the precepts, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, to the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all arhats and bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and their relations throughout the Dharma worlds. May our sincere vows to accomplish and live the enlightened way be realized together. All Buddhas throughout space and time. All Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas. Maha.
I don't see a Bodhis in your
Prajna. Araminita. Well, thank you, everybody. It's good to do this with you. Thank you, Siri, for showing up. Because apparently, if you're wearing an Apple Watch on your right wrist, the button gets pressed down when you really dig into your gasho. I can see the little thing spinning through the through the whole dedication. So, thank you, Siri. She said she didn't see any Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, but I saw them. Did you see them?
Technology.
I hope you all have a great day. You find some peace and gratitude for all that arises in your life, the good and the bad. And yeah, be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you around the Sangha.
Thank you, Sekishi. Thank you, Bien. Bye, everyone.
Eat everybody.